like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. Now we live, man. Again, another Monday. Here in What's in Your Glass. I got my brother. I got the world's famous DJ D Nice. I think we all know who he is, what he about, what he do. This crave that he created during quarantine. He gave us life. He gave us hope through music, through the sound, and he brought a lot of people together night in and night out. So, with that being said, man, I want to welcome my brother D Nice to What's in Your Glass. As we always do, we always give a virtual cheers to you and to the people that's watching, that's tuning in. So again, man, salute for jumping on here with us today.
I'm excited, man. I do have a question. I want to see if I can get you to repeat that intro for my next show.
I only do one intros, man. They might differ next time. They might differ.
Nah, that's awesome, man. How are you holding up out there?
I'm good, man. I'm all good, man. It's just trying to just do my thing and keep my voice heard and just stay positive through all of this and find some sanity throughout everything that's going on. But other than that, we enjoy your quarantine radio. As we all listen to, I think everybody listened to it, and I think over the time, everybody has just started relying on that, for the positivity that you've been giving us through music.
It's been an amazing experience, man. First of all, thank you for having me here. And I'll be honest with you, when I saw you first pop in, it brought so much joy to me because it's one with boys, but usually we see each other at someone else's event. Whether it's D Wade or whatever. And it was the first time where I felt like people were just coming to my thing, so you had to want to go and hear what I was doing to pop into my IG live. So seeing your name in there, it just brought so much joy, man. It was one of those names where, for one, I mean, aside from us being boys, I'm a fan, period. So it's whenever you see people that you admire enjoying what you do, it's a very humbling feeling.
No,
so nothing but gratitude, bro.
I appreciate that, man. We've been out here in Portland, fam. We kind of started structuring our days around kind of the D Nice quarantine. Friends and family, and just enjoying that moment, man, because it gave us so much, so much joy through the pain that we all enduring at this moment, and at the beginning of quarantine as well. With that being said, I want to just kind of jump right into it. Again, this is this is not an interview. I'm not a host. I'm not an interviewee or interviewer or whatever. But how are you at the end of the day? You know what I'm saying? How's things going on your front?
I'm actually great, bro. My kids are here with me now, and initially I was here for nearly 3 months alone. Just doing the whole self-isolation, and that's pretty much how the whole starting club quarantine happened. It was me just being here, and I mean you're playing when your whole world is shifted. You kind of have to figure out what the new normal was. So I had to. For me, I was so used to being on the road and touring and having people in front of me, to where when I sat down at home, Mello, I was here I didn't even put art on the walls, because I'd been doing so many shows that I never personalized my own space. I'd spent so much time being there for other people, and I was a bit frustrated. And that's pretty much how this whole thing started, of sitting in this very spot. That's why I chose to sit here. It all started right here in this very spot where, I sat down and started playing music from my computer into my phone, just playing it and sharing stories. And I realized after day one that although I was hurting and I was alone and a little disappointed on how I chose to set up my personal space, it ended up being the most important thing. The fact that I didn't have a lot of stuff in here, I was able to shift things around and put up music and create this virtual club quarantine.
How you started managing all that? Because that never was planned. Usually, I assume in your situation, you want everything tight. Everything is precise. It's about the second, every second. Your setup got to be right. The sound got to be right. you really trusted IG when it comes to that, as far as the sound, but you also gave it to people straight up. Like it was uncut, it was raw, it was live and direct from from the living room of D Nice. Like once people started having that feeling, I feel like everything shifted and everything changed. For me, I was a spectator. I was in it. Family was in it. We was open bottles of wine to the quarantine D Nice. So we was vibing to that. But for you, how was you able to adjust to that? Because I know you wasn't used to something like that.
No, and to be honest with you, I didn't even have turntables in here, bro. Like I bought the rig that I use. I bought it literally the day before we were like before the quarantine like actually hit. Actually, it was the day the quarantine hit was when I bought this because that's when all of the stores shut down. Like it was, I guess the beauty of it was I think people gravitated towards me because it was so raw and it wasn't all of the fanfare, like I'm used to the bright lights and the stage and I send out a tech rider and I say, hey, this is what I use. And, like it was none of that. It was me inviting you into my home. I'm sitting in my place is nice, but where I'm sitting is like a center island separating the kitchen from this living room. And so I was pretty much cooking up in the kitchen,
Literally,
like
literally though,
literally
literally.
cooking up in the kitchen. And I think for me that's what the beauty of it was. It was so raw and so I mean, IG doesn't have like incredible sound. It's a mono sound, so it's not incredible, but that's what makes it so beautiful is that it's so raw that it's like what we grew up listening to. I know I'm slightly older than you, but it's listening to it on like we used to listen to AM radio and like what I mean, like so like having that feeling of like not having much and figuring out how to do something that impacted the world with very limited resources has actually been a fantastic experience. Like I could go out and buy like a DJ setup and a new table, but there's something magical about which I can actually show you where I'm like, I still have everything set up similar to how I was using it. You know what I mean? Like I got my laptop, I can afford laptop stands, but I'm using my coffee table books. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just got everything set up to where it's like very raw and I kept it simple. So I'm here doing this. You know what I'm saying? Live streaming from home with a makeshift setup, but it's what makes it special though.
Right.
It's like being able to inspire people, not just through the music, but to be able to inspire people to find resources around your home during a quarantine to be able to do something that's so impactful. And that's to me, that's like the best part of it all. And that's why I haven't changed anything. I'm sitting here and I mean, I know my kids don't want to see DJ gear in the living room, but like, it's what changed the world, bro.
Right. Absolutely. And I always say people see and they know authenticity, right? And realness and things that's organic. So I think that's why people, from my perspective, that's why people gravitated to what he was doing, because they felt the same way. Oh shit, D Nice is set up in his crib. I'm about to set up in my crib. It's like
Yeah.
that's what it was. Like let's set up our own club quarantine in our own crib and vibe out. So I think people saw the authenticity in kind of what you was doing. And I also know, like during that, you was being sent a lot of shit, like especially a lot of wine at the end of the day. So I
Yeah.
want to know what you're drinking right now.
Right now, I'm drinking from my own stash, though. I'm a Camus fan, man. So I'm rocking with Camus right now. Um, I have so many bottles of Camus, or I've had so many bottles of Camus throughout this quarantine, bro. Like I've literally, in 3 months, I've gone through cases because I really do enjoy wine, you
Right.
know, and more than anything, I enjoy like just a glass of wine, man, and drinking it, just patiently drinking it and enjoying the flavor of it, So this has been one of my things. But when I tell you, man, people have been that's how I knew how impactful it was on like other people and people that we know. So whether it's D Wade or whether it's Will Packer, like everybody was just sending wine. Chris Spencer was sending bottles and bottles of Silver Oak every day. Like every day, Chris Spencer and his wife Vanessa would just send. I'd be playing, and then all of a sudden, it's like concierge would call, like, you got a shipment of wine here, and it's just been great to know that we're not used to being quarantined, period. That's just not the way we are built, to have to stay in one place. And the fact that like we all did this together through music, through wine, people were sending me dinner, people were sending their chef to bring food for a week. I was like, wait, is this what it's like?
What?
So now I need a chef.
So speaking of that, people sending you stuff. I keep saying this banana pudding.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
How serious? Listen, how serious is the pudding goddess banana pudding? I need to hear that. I need to go on record hearing this.
So our mutual friend sent over some banana pudding, and she was, whatever her recipe is. I would only eat my aunt's banana pudding. Period.
Rightfully.
There is, you know what I'm saying? Like that was it. Like, I wasn't like a huge banana pudding fan. But whenever my aunt made it, it was just so fantastic. And I tried Magnolia. It wasn't my kind of vibe.
Right.
So when I received this banana pudding from my mutual friend, I just happened to like, because I was already DJing, I just took a scoop of it as I was walking back to I was literally on IG Live rocking.
Right.
Took a scoop of it. And as I stood in front of the camera, I was like, wait, this shit's good.
Started hitting different.
And I was like, wait a minute, I'll be right back. And then I walked over and I just scooped out some and I just couldn't believe how good it was, man. And I really do hope that this turns into like a serious business for her. Like she's very kind.
I still haven't had it yet. I'm still waiting on mine. I'm still waiting.
You haven't had it yet?
I'm still waiting on mine. I'm still waiting on mine.
No, it was serious business. Bro.
Do you have you had a chance to have any wine with the banana pudding or?
No. I think when I was eating her banana pudding, I was strictly on tequila at that point. So
so that enhanced the taste buds.
Oh, true, totally. I was on drinking tequila at that point, man. So but yeah, it's if I did, I would probably enjoy it with like a fantastic dessert wine. Just something a little bit more fruity to kind of enhance the flavor, or to kind of pair it with that flavor that she has with the banana pudding. But no, I haven't had it yet. You wait until you have it. When you have it, please, I need you to hit me up and let me know.
I'm gonna hit you and let you know what it is. I'm gonna hit you and let you know what the crave about. Let's jump somewhere else. Let's kind of jump into kind of some of the stuff that we're dealing with today as humans. And then we'll kind of just go to something else, going kind of more lighthearted a little bit. I honestly want to hear from your standpoint, what's your take on what we're dealing with? Because every day is something new, it's new information, something else is happening. We found another dead body here, another body there. Like,
it's been crazy.
What's your take on this whole situation, just where we at as a community, as a country, as a world? I want to hear about that.
So it's very interesting to me, because I come from an era of like hip hop culture where we talked about these records. So whether it was NWA, talking about what was going on in Compton, you had my group KRS-One and our group Boogie Down Productions talking about what was going on in New York City and Public Enemy. It's kind of interesting how like we live our lives as successful people, and you feel like you're sheltered from what's going on, because a lot of times I wasn't really paying attention to what was truly happening in the hood, because I don't watch much television. I was constantly going, but it took the world to stop for us to actually see what everybody was already experiencing and what I'd seen in the past. And I realized that no matter how successful you are, we're not far removed. What's been going on could be any one of us. Like I live in a nice neighborhood. I could be running that, jogging down the street and then have someone pull me over and, thinking that I was some sort of, burglar or whatever it is, or just misjudge me. So yes, it's heartbreaking to know what's going on out here right now. But then the silver lining of it to me is I really believe in this young generation because they really got out there. They didn't, even though I went out, my daughter made sure that she was like, Dad, you have to go out and make sure, because I would be honest with you, I was more afraid of like COVID than anything, like I
Which
was
which
more
which, which
afraid
we
of,
should be, which we still should be.
yes, I was more afraid of that. Like, wait, people are like marching and like a lot of people aren't, wearing their masks, and I was very concerned with that. But when my daughter, she's 23 years old, she was like, you have to go out there, you have to support. And that was the best decision because once I was out there, it felt like that's what I was supposed to be doing, like I was supposed to be out there. But this young generation, man, it's just incredible to see what they've accomplished, even in terms of like getting out there and spreading the word and protesting, like, and I don't want people to get it twisted. Yes, I've seen like looters, but I don't think that had nothing to do with the protesters, the people that are out there doing the work. So I'm extremely proud of what they are accomplishing. It's sad that we are still going through this, even, 400 years later, it was still like out here, and people are being hanged, and like dude was like murdered, by the police officers in Atlanta. It's like it just doesn't stop, man. So it's heartbreaking, but we still have so much work to do.
What is those conversations like that? Like with the kids, or how do you have that conversation? Because nowadays, uh, like we have to have that conversation at an early age now. And I'm talking about 6, 7 on up. Whereas before, when I was younger, you was younger. Like I know my parents used to tell me, "Don't worry about it. Like don't they you don't need to know about this. You don't need to hear about this." So now we have to have those real conversations with our kids. Like how do you feel having that conversation?
So for
And,
me
and
growing up, I
pardon me, and also what do you say? Like, 'cause they are the future. They are the young voices of what's going on. And I always said that this younger generation is totally different than the generations, but kind of before them. They are active. They are woke. They are becoming more educated on a lot of topics,
yes.
things that's going on. So, how do we have that dialogue with our kids?
So fortunately and unfortunately for me, I grew up where I had to learn these things at a very young age because I wasn't raised by my mother. So although I have a fantastic relationship with my mom had me at a very young age. So I lived with like my great grandmother who, she was much older. She was in her 70s at the time. We lived in like this one bedroom apartment in the Bronx with my cousin, and it was five of us, my cousin, her boyfriend, their son, my great grandmother, and I both slept in the living room on sofas. So from a very young age, I was already kind of seeing what was going on in the inner city and in the hood. Like that's just the way I grew up, where it seemed normal. And then you spend your life trying to get out of that condition so your kids don't have to experience it, which is actually a terrible thing, to shield your kids from the history that you've experienced. It's a part of our history, So my mistake is that no, I have an 8-year old and I have a 23-year old. My 8-year old, no, we've never had those conversations. Now we do. Now she sees what's going on. We talk about the marches. We've seen the marches. I live downtown, so we've watched the marches happen. Where they stayed here when I went downstairs. And we were able to talk about it. The thing about it with my oldest daughter is my oldest daughter is a law student, so it feels weird talking about it while she's sitting over here, but she's a law student, so she actually understands what's going on. So, and as far as me having to bring up the conversation with her, no, she actually brings it up with me, and we talk about it because she has her own thoughts on it from a legal perspective and just from being younger, being a 23-year-old. So I've learned a lot from her, and I've been inspired by her through the conversations that we've had. And this next generation is powerful. And she went to Spelman. Like a lot of her Spelman sisters they've been out there in the front line in Atlanta, being, hit with pepper spray and you know what I'm saying? Like they've been out there protesting, where in this, I never want to see anything happen to any of the younger people, but I'm truly inspired that they have taken the initiative to get out there and allow their voices to be heard. So I don't know if you watched the Dave Chappelle special where he was talking about how,
Of course.
no, they got this. They really got this. Like they're out there doing the work. Of course, we still have to support and we still have to get out there with them, but they really do. Like they've done an amazing job.
And that's something that I totally agree with. I mean, the all the charities and the grassroots organizations that's kind of just on the ground day to day, kind of knocking down the doors and making change. Those are the people that we got to get behind. Like that. That's how
Yes.
we show our support. That's how we come together and figure all of this out, because we're not going to figure it out alone. We've been trying to do that for too long. Now I think we're starting to realize the power that we have as a community, and we're starting to use that to our advantage, in a good way though, because we want change at the end of the day, right? So it's like, what has changed? It changes relative to what people want, right? Is it education? Is it reforms? Is it this? Is it that? We have
Yeah.
to try to change the laws. That's where we make change. We got to go attack these laws that's out there and try to get those changed. And that's always kind of been kind of my take on it. With
But
that, though, you said something interesting as far as the time that we in this younger generation being who they are and standing on what they stand for. You recorded self-destruction. Like
yes.
I'm trying to get into the mind of your mind when you recorded self-destruction. How was you like? Did you foresee that today, like playing today, and the impact that it would have, or was that just a kind of a momentary thing that you was doing?
So when I produced Self Destruction, I was 18 years old, and we had already dealt with like one of the early deaths in hip hop. The guy that started my group, DJ Scott LaRock. So we've always had, like, from that moment, it was always about doing things that would impact the community, right? So Self Destruction wasn't birthed from that. It was birthed from an incident that happened at one of our concerts, where someone was murdered after one of our shows because he was wearing a gold chain and he was on a date with this girl, and some dudes rolled up on him. So we made that record to shine some light on the violence that was going on in our communities. Um, I think, and that's another thing that was incredible about that time and how it relates to like right now. I was 18 years old when I produced that record, which is no different than the average 18-year-old that's out here on the streets protesting. That
Right.
was our protest, and I was 18 years old. And everyone has a part to play, right? So people look at like someone like Jay-Z that's not out marching, but is using his power to make change and impact. We all have our parts to play. Like we don't need everyone on the front line. We need the right amount of people on the front line, but we also need the right amount of people on those phones that can call, that can call a president, or can not call this president, but like that can call, you know, people that can impact change. And so when I was younger, it was great participating on that level through music, in protesting, and we've done a lot of that growing up. But like right now, man, it's like I'm more impactful. I'm more impactful behind the scenes because I do know a lot of people. I'm very well connected, as you are. Like we know a lot of people, and the amount of work that we've been doing now in terms of like fundraising and like you know resources with I deal with a lot of people from Assemblyman Michael Blake to a lot of the people that work in the Obama administration. I do a lot of work with Michelle Obama, to impact that change. Like we all can't be out there. Somebody still has to be behind the scenes to make sure that change is getting done in other ways as well. So I love that I've had this long career of doing things that have impacted our community positively.
Makes which totally makes sense. Again, I want to I want to thank kind of What's in Your Glass TV. Sign up for this, for the newsletter. Um, every Monday we here. I got today my brother D Nice is here with the good bottle of Cambridge. I didn't even talk about.
That was actually going to be my next question. What are
Yeah,
you
I'm like
sipping on?
I gotta pour me a glass real quick. I'm on. I went burgundy today.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
so I got a nice bottle of Chambelot Musini. Let me see if I can get it
Yes,
in the
yes,
camera.
yes. Oh,
So
nice. 2006 too. Yes, yes, yes. Is that
two.
one of your favorite burgundies?
It's not my favorite burgundy, but it's very very good. I'm talking about very good, very light, very fruitful. Something that I can drink at this moment right here during the day and still able to proceed with the rest of my day. As you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
some wines you drink during the day, you finish after that. So
True, true. That's actually why I enjoy this Cayman. It's a little heavy for like daytime drinking, but like I really wanted this bottle of Cayman all day. I was like, I need to pop this open. So I figured right now would be a good time since we're just, just kicking it, bro. But I love that you are I love that you're into wines, man, because when we're younger and we first start making a little bit of change, we tend to pop bottles and send champagne and do all of the foolishness. And as you age, you get a little older and wiser. You tend to flow more with the wines and learn more about the wines. So like this is a passion of mine. I'm still a novice when it comes to understanding wine properly and just to have a full on understanding of it. But I go to vineyards a lot. I go to Napa a lot, and even in terms of like spirits, pre-COVID, I would always go out to Cognac to France, and it's something that I'm really interested in, like wines and spirits. It was something that Kenny Burns and I, your buddy Kenny Burns, we've yeah we're like, and then the next venture is to open a vineyard and like really get into like luxury wine, like at a great price point though.
of course,
Like where not everybody's gonna spend $200-300 a bottle on some wine. Like not everybody can buy Opus or like, so we want to do some things that's affordable but still represent luxury in terms of like in the wine business.
yeah, because it's there, right? And I think, well, not think, but I know my position in kind of this lane is also to make people aware like you can drink wine. It's fun. It's cool. It's not a prestige that you have to drink it. It's don't be ashamed to order a bottle of wine. Like the same way you want to order a bottle of tequila, order a bottle of wine. Like it's very social. It's comfortable. It's I always say conversations get better on a second glass. But that
Yes.
that just that just goes to show you that wine is that. Spirits, I love spirits. I think conversations get better after the first shot on the spirit. But for the most part, man, just the wine culture. I think us as Black people, we need to really, start and continue to learning about these things because at the end of the day, it's educational from an agriculture standpoint, farming
Sure.
standpoint, right? We need more of our people, Black people, in those areas, taking advantage of the farming, the farming opportunities and the agriculture opportunities. Like, we need more of us in those realms. So that's kind of what I'm here for, to try to just make people comfortable and bring awareness and educate people on this. Back
That's where it actually starts though, because you know at one point I was just a cognac drinker or single malt Scotch. I was drinking Lafroig and I would drink Hennessy, Richard, and all of these nice cognacs, and a buddy of mine who did very well in finance. One day he's an older gentleman, invited me over to his home, and beautiful apartment in Brooklyn Heights, and I had never seen an apartment like this for one. But then we walked into his wine cellar in the apartment, and he had roughly around 3,000 bottles of wine, which was small for his collection. It's what he could fit in that apartment. Then in his house he had another 13,000 bottles.
Damn.
So one day he asked me, like, we sat back in his apartment, And he was like, "What year were you born?" Then he pulled out a bottle of wine from my birth year, and I was looking at him like, "Man, you just gonna open some vintage bottle?" And at that point, because it was so old, it tasted more like a dessert wine. But the fact that he had all these vintage bottles of wine, and then he started to invite me out to into like into his circle of friends, and they are all wine drinkers, and they all like specific wines. Like they like a certain type of grape. So his friends introduced me to Barolo.
Wow. Okay.
So personally, that's what I enjoy drinking. I
Okay.
love Camus, but I'm really a Barolo drinker. And when they introduced me to it, they were popping so many like pricey bottles of wine, and I almost felt inadequate. Like, damn, like like I need to pay you something. And he said, "Man, listen, wine is you're supposed to enjoy it with people. You collect wine to drink it and share with people." And I never forgot that. And he's still one of my best friends, and we still drink wine. We do, during COVID, we'll have like a Zoom little wine, get up and pop a bottle of wine and just catch up and see what's going on. But that's what I love about sharing a bottle of wine with someone or going out. It's very in terms of like being social. It's great for conversation, like you said, and it's just enjoyable. Like, let's just keep it real. Like, it's just good, bro.
I don't have listen. I have a similar story to that, and I never realized why like people just open up a bottle, an expensive ass bottle at any moment, right? Because I'm like, damn, hold up, don't open that one. Let me take that one with me home. Like I want to add that to my collection. And this was kind of early on, and they were just like, look, it was like Mello, we gonna drink this wine every day, all day. So don't just focus on taking that bottle. Let's open it right now and drink it. Why would you go home and save it? And I never really thought about that part of it. And even to this moment, like I open up a burgundy right now, and some people hit me like, "Yo, why you opening up a burgundy? Save that." I'm like, "Yo, it's meant to be drank. We have
Absolutely.
to drink this wine." Man. I'm an avid collector. I have thousands of bottles, but it's like I want to drink my wine. I don't want to keep a bottle of wine for 10, 20 years. Like I want to enjoy it now. I mean, now, there's certain birth years that I try to keep, for when people get older. But other than that, I don't care what it is. It can be the highest bottle of wine. It can be a low bottle of wine. I'm going to drink it, especially with people who can appreciate the type of wine that
Yes.
I drink. Um,
You don't want to open a nice bottle of wine for someone that doesn't appreciate it.
no,
Because
that's
there's
heavy.
no worse feeling than popping. Listen, you popping something nice. Like I can't even remember what it was, but like someone she owns a vineyard out in Napa, and she sent me like a case of like some incredible wine, man. And I'll text you the info when we're done.
Yeah, please do.
But it was, I mean, every bottle I opened was just beautiful, like just beautiful. 2004, like that's another thing. Like people don't you when you're into wines, man. Like you really do have to understand like the years, like what the weather was like that year, because then the grapes are different, and it's I'm learning so much more about it, and I don't have as many. I mean, you have like thousands of bottles. I don't have a collection like that. I've always had a lot of wine, but my goal is to, and especially as we get a little older, I don't really like going out to clubs anymore. Even though I'm a DJ, which is so weird. I Part of moving to like Los Angeles was because LA culture was much more inviting to you entertaining people at home.
Right.
Like I guess because the clubs close early, but like most people are like, yo, you know what? I'm having dinner at the house, or I'm playing spades at the house. Come over. You bring a bottle of wine, sit there, fantastic conversation. Like that's where I am in life. That's what I love about it. So like be able to like I remember when I popped one of my DJ sets on IG, I was pouring Camus, And then Mariah sent me a text, and she was like, "Oh, you just drinking Cayman's like it's nothing. Like I love it. Like that's my favorite." And it's crazy how like that becomes like a conversation
Of
piece
course.
when you actually enjoy the same type of wine. Like so, I agree with you, man. Wine should be shared, man. Like you don't. I mean, but shared with people that respect
Can,
it,
can appreciate it.
can
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
You can't just open up a special bottle of wine with somebody who don't understand it or appreciate it.
I
You
did a last year. I did a solo vacation trip, right? So I was sitting back. I'm about to sound bougie as hell right now, but I was smoking a cigar. I was sitting back, and I was like, "Damn!" I had like 10 days of no gigs coming, or 12 days of no gigs coming up, and I was like, "Man, I really just want to go to Europe and drink wine." No lie. I booked a one-way ticket from. I love wine and I love cheese, so I booked a one-way ticket from New York into Barcelona. And then my return ticket was leaving from Zurich because I
mm,
wanted cheese.
right.
And all I wanted to do was hop to different countries where like I wanted to go to Tuscany, I wanted to go to all these places to just drink wine. I went alone. I flew. I was really just gonna do like one day at a time. So I flew into Barcelona. I wanted Rioja. Like that was it. I wanted to like find a good restaurant. I wanted fantastic food and just drink wine. I ended up staying in Barcelona for 3 nights. It was supposed to be a one-day trip. I stayed there for 3 days. I was drinking so much Rioja, like I was going to restaurants everywhere. I was like, man, this is the life. Then I bought a ticket from Barcelona to Florence.
Mm,
So I went from Barcelona to Florence. That was such a magical experience. I totally skipped Tuscany. I just went to Florence and I ended up staying in Florence for like 3 nights. Actually, I stayed there for 4 nights. I mean, I had wine with breakfast, I had Florentine steak, and it was just,
yeah.
I just couldn't believe how, like, being in places like that and actually experiencing the wine from that region was like so much. I mean, just feeling the culture and the experience of like being there was just different than just opening a bottle of wine from Italy or whatever. Like just being there, opening a bottle of wine from Rioja, from Spain, opening some Rioja. Like it was just amazing. And then I ended the trip in Zurich eating fondue and drinking wine.
So,
Like, hey, listen.
listen. I'm gonna stay away from the fondue. I'll stay away. But I know that experience because I'm the same way. Once I get over there overseas, it's like you almost kind of just lock into that moment, right? So if you in Barcelona, which is one of my favorite places in the world to go to, you unlock into Barcelona. If you're in Tuscany, you're not gonna think about anything else but being in that moment at Tuscany. And by the way, Tuscany is one of the most beautiful places that anybody can ever go. So we have similar situations or understanding when it comes to that part. Let's I want to try to jump into something else. Here's some kind of miscellaneous questions I'm gonna ask. Um, so music, right? Music has always been like used since the beginning of time to express like feeling, state of the world, and like in a way that we often can't express uh, through everyday discussions. Uh, you've been in music your whole life. Like how have you seen a shift in music, and how has it been in the last 3 to 4 months? I would say.
So yeah, I've watched because I started so young at 15 in the music industry. So I've definitely seen I've seen the vibe change from whether it was New York based to LA based to Houston to it blowing up in Atlanta. I've watched it shift, and I've watched different like regions like take over music. Everyone had it for a while, like New York had it. I mean, it was created. Hip hop was created in New York, and then LA had it. Dr. Dre. It seems like Atlanta just won't let it go. Atlanta, Atlanta won't. It's like Atlanta got his foot on like the throat of hip hop. Like what I'm saying? Like we're not letting it go. We're holding it down. We're gonna keep this here. But like I just look, man, I love music, man. You know, and I love the experience that I've had in the music business. So watching the vibe shift from like early days where I'll give you an example. My style of DJing incorporates all genres of music from all generations, right? So I want you to hear Tiger just as much as I want you to hear Stevie Wonder. I want you to hear the Sugar Hill Gang and Migos in the same set because it's just music, it's just rhythm, it's about a feeling. So I don't when I hear like the younger generation doing what they do, I'm proud of them. You're making the music that you love, you know,
Absolutely.
and let's be very clear, like, and I think that's why I get so many people in my IG. Like I'll be in my IG and it'll be like Drake and Ari Lennox and Kathy Sledge and Melba Moore and Quincy Jones and Now Rogers and Swiss Beats. It's all in my IG live. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and it's because of the love of music. You know, like Jimmy Jam is in there every night because of the love of music that I have, the love and respect of music. You know, like what someone creates, that's their artistry. So who are we to say like this isn't good? It may
Absolutely.
not be to your liking, but you can't say it's not good. You know, like I play little baby records. You know what I'm saying? Like I play
Well,
all those records.
Baby's on fire right now too.
Baby's on fire, and I will say this about Baby, right? And he got the new record out,
Absolutely.
the new record that's talking about what's going on right now. You know what I
Powerful.
mean? So,
Powerful.
so I feel like this generation needed to experience. Well, let me take that back. No one needs to experience what we're going on, but I think because of what's happening right now, the new generation of MCs and rappers and musicians feel a sense of responsibility to incorporate what they're experiencing now in the music. And you're
Absolutely.
watching YG become like a real activist. You know what I mean? Like you're watching, you know, Lil Baby with the record that he has out right now. You're watching the OG to them, Ti, like speak his mind about what's going on. That's one of the silver linings to what's happening right now is that people are finding their voices, not just in having a good time. Like we need a balance in music because we don't want everything to be so heavy all of the time.
Right.
You know, for my generation, we had Public Enemy, but we also had the Two Live Crew.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, and they did coexist. We had both. So it's like I love this generation. Like, and I love that people are finding ways to allow their voices to be heard with their music, you know, and I don't knock it, man. Like when we first came on the music scene back in the day, we were hated by one of my favorite MCs, Melly Mel from the Sugar Hill Gang. I mean,
Absolutely.
from not from the Sugar Hill Gang, from Grandmaster Flash and
Right.
the
That's
Furious
right.
Five.
Of course.
So, but he didn't like that there is this new generation of people coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was very like protective of his culture, and rightfully so. He didn't know what we were trying to do with it. It was like, yo, this is what he loved, and he was so hip hop. I never wanted to be a Melly Mel to any of the younger people. I never wanted to be that type of person. I always wanted to be someone that was like, yo, you know what? It's your shot, young boy. Like, do what you love. And the same way where I want people to look at me and say, yo, it's your shot, D Nice. Like, you're the DJ of the hour right now.
Right.
We're proud
Absolutely.
of you. I always wanted to be that type of person, and I think that's why like so many people gravitate towards me, gravitate towards my IG and my whole style. You know, like people rock with it because I'm very embracing, bro. Like I didn't grow up the way Carmelo Anthony did,
Right.
so I didn't grow up the way you did. You know, so I don't know what you listened to. I don't know what inspired you. I only know that through conversation that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can't judge you based on the music that you listen to, the music that inspired you. The same way that you can't judge me and say, "Yo, you're listening to Donna Summer, like
I,
you're playing old
I would
disco
never. I would,
records."
but I would never question anyone who listens to Donna Summers. Never ever. I'm a music head. I think every people who know me knows that about me. That's the number one thing they would say. I listen to every genre of music.
Yes.
Every genre of music. I don't discriminate. I never say somebody, somebody record is trash. Somebody, I don't. That's not what I do, because again, it's an art at the end of the day. So if I might listen to it, I might not find nothing that I can relate to or that attracts me, but I'm going to give you a chance to show me,
Yep.
the work and the art and the artistry that you put into that. So I love music from that standpoint. I also love music from a standpoint that how it makes me feel. I'm sure music make everybody feel a certain way, but I can listen to, one of my favorite artists is Frank Sinatra. On the other hand, one of my favorite artists is Sam Cooke. So I can listen to all of that, but I also can fast forward to today and listen to little baby, money bag, yo. I can listen to
Yep.
that because I've come from that. You know what I'm saying? So and everything in between. So with me, music is everything, man. That keeps my day going. That keeps my mood in the right place. Even when I'm down, I resort to music and books at the end of the day because I can learn so much about you as an artist by listening to you and interpreting and taking what I need to take from those lyrics or that music. And I also listen to music differently, right? I don't
Yes.
listen to the sound. I listen to kind of your artistry, what you put into it, how you produce that. I want to know these. I want to know these questions. I want to know how you felt when you was in the booth and you spit that song or you did that verse. The most popular songs, the best songs ever. What mode were you in at that moment? Because I can relate that to me going into a basketball game, right? The
Yes,
biggest,
sir. Yes.
the feeling that I was feeling in the biggest games, in the biggest moment when I hit that shot, I can relate all of that back. So it coincides with one another, sports and music as a whole. Um,
You know what's so great about it is that my experience now with like this whole virtual club quarantine has it's been a special one because here's the deal, right? You when you're in a club and you're turning up and you're drinking and you're with your friends, Frank Sinatra doesn't sound good at you know what I'm saying? Like if you're at Live, you
yes,
can't play you can play Frank Sinatra just a little bit of New York if you're going into
yeah,
Jay Z's Empire State of Mind. You know what I'm saying?
just a
Just a
sample.
little sample of it, so it's like, oh, this is crazy. Like, but you're not playing a Frank Sinatra song.
No, not at
The
all.
same, that same approach to me is how I looked at IG, right? So the reason that I play music the way that I do on Instagram Live, which is why so many people have gravitated towards it, was because the playing Lil Baby and playing like a lot of the new trap records, it's not what you want to hear with your family during this time. During this time of like people protesting, you're stuck in the house because of COVID. You needed music that was going to uplift your spirit and
Facts.
music that was just going to make you feel inspired. And not that trap music doesn't, or not that EDM doesn't make you feel inspired. It's a different feeling. It's a different way that you look at it. It's like when you listen to it, you're bouncing with trap music. EDM, you pretty much need a bottle of something, or you need something when you
Jaeger, you need a
because
bottle
it's
of
like
Jaeger.
so there's so much energy to it. So playing the way that I play the music and going through these generations and like playing classics, you know, it's very like it's welcoming. It's allowing people to play music for their families. You know, so you may call it cookout music or barbecue music, whatever. You know what I mean? But it's music that you can listen to on a whole during this crazy pandemic. So like our buddy DJ Envy sent me a text one day and he was like, "Yo, you know what? I just love listening to you." He was like, "For the first time, I can just listen to music with my entire family." And I never forgot that. I never forgot those words coming from a fellow DJ who pretty much plays all of the trap joints. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he said that to me, it resonated. And it was just like, yo, you know what? Everyone has a lane. My lane probably isn't that. Now, I do play those sets and I have fun with them. You know, I have fun breaking away from like what I normally do, which is actually what I was doing anyway in all of the clubs pre-COVID. Like, you know, I was playing in Live in all these places. I was playing in Vegas. You had to play those records. But I just took a different approach, and it just changed. It inspired the world, bro. Like it just made people feel good about listening to music together and then listen and exploring with music. Like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard this in forever. Yo, I
Right.
need to Shazam this. I need this on my playlist. Like, and that's what I was getting, and that's been like one of the best feelings of during this quarantine of being able to play music, for so many people, keeping them inspired.
I definitely appreciate that. And that's very insightful. I usually do this segment called "What's in Your," right? So you just fill in the blanks. I think we all know what's your quarantine DJ set list at the end of the day. We
Yeah.
already know that. I think we all know that. Everybody knows that. What's oh man, I gotta because we listen to you every fucking day, so I gotta figure out another question. What's on your Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or Apple?
Damn, yo,
What's
honestly, bro, I've been so heavy into the music for during this quarantine that I haven't watched many movies at all. I haven't, I don't, I barely. Matter of fact, my daughter said to me, I stayed off of IG. My birthday is on Friday, so I was like, yo, I'm gonna stay off for an entire week to keep people excited and waiting for me. And then my daughter said yesterday, like, yo, initially, I was cool with you not DJing, but like now it's boring in here. Like, there's nothing on. It's quiet in here. I don't really watch television that much. I started watching the new Spike Lee joint last night.
The Five Bloods?
Yes, the Five Bloods. I started watching that last night, and that was really good. I finished that. Other than that, it's been like my little one is watching, YouTube Kids, and that's it, man. I'm all about the music right now, man, and I'm
Absolutely.
enjoying it.
What's your okay? You don't watch TV, so let me skip that. What's your favorite album of all time?
Favorite album of all time would probably be Stevie Wonder's "Songs in the Key of Life."
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I'm
yeah.
feeling. I love the vibe. I'm feeling the vibe. What's your go-to song? If you can listen to one song forever, what's that song would be?
Man, if I could listen to one song forever, damn, what would be? It would be a Prince song. If I can listen to one song, I don't know what it is about Prince. I want to be a lover. I will probably listen. I can listen to that every day, man. And anytime someone sends me a remix of that song, like it just makes me happy. And I know what it is. I was born in the '70s, and I remember when that record was out in like 1980, 79, 80, and being in the Bronx and walking down the street. You remember? Well, I don't know how you grew up, but like we didn't have washing machines at home, so walking past like all of the laundromats, they used to blast that song. You know what I mean? Like, so when I think about "I Want to Be Your Lover," it immediately takes me back to a time when I was a child. You know what I mean? Like, so that song means something to me.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Let's skip to wine now. Do you prefer domestic or international wine? Because you love Cayman.
If I was,
You
I
love
love
Cayman.
Camus. I love
But
Camus, man.
but
This is
but
Napa all day.
are you going to say a but?
Nah, I won't even say a but, man. I love Camus, but I also love wines from Oregon. The Oregon soil
I love that. I
is
love that.
fantastic. You know what I mean? Like it's very earthy.
I've been talking about Oregon wine for the past couple months, and people are like, "Yo, what's so good about Oregon wine? Try it
Yeah,
and get back to me, please." Oregon wine is incredible. It's
it's
light.
incredible.
It's fruitful, and honestly, I think it's going to be the new booming region in the next couple years.
Yes,
It's already
I
booming, but it will be the next booming region in the United States in the next couple years.
I definitely love wines from Oregon. Sometimes like it just depends on what you enjoy, though. Like sometimes the most expensive wine isn't the best wine to me.
Absolutely,
Like
absolutely.
you know,
I've
like
experienced that a couple times.
yeah, spending a lot on wine that just it's not even good. I mean, I'm never gonna say what the vineyard is, but one of our boys, I'm throwing him out there. Chef Roble was like, "Yo, I need to send you some incredible wine from from this vineyard." Yo, listen, I opened up 3 of those bottles and I was just like, oh my God, I can't take, I'm not even going to waste my time on this. This isn't good. So, and I can't wait to call Roble and tell him, like, bro, what'd you send me, man?
That's
But
that's another thing though, because people want to send you a bunch of stuff, which is for me, I'm welcome and I love when people send. I love to share and I love to try with kind of what people is people sharing. But sometimes just be like, yo, I can what can I do with that? I can't do nothing with that at the end of the day. So that's funny. What
you know what I do with it? You know what I do with it, Mello? When someone's delivering a package, I'm like, hey, thank you for delivering this package. You want to share a bottle of wine with your wife? This is for you, man.
what's your so you prefer red or white?
I prefer red wines. The only white wines I love Sincere. I
Oh,
love white Burgundy.
of course.
I
That's the
love
best way.
white. I love a white Burgundy.
It's the best way.
Yeah. That's the only time. And occasionally I'll drink rosé, but that's mainly in the daytime. Sun is out. I'm out. I want to enjoy a nice bottle of wine, sitting out. Like, yeah, that's great. But I'm a red wine drinker.
French or Italian?
I'm a Barolo drinker. So hey, that's your
Italian.
answer. I'm
Okay.
Italian, man.
So y'all think you just answered this next one? Napa Pinot or Oregon Pinot?
No, Oregon Pinot is fantastic, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Oregon Pinot.
Okay. You like full body wines or light?
Oh man. I'm not a big light wine drinker. So it's more medium to full. Yeah.
Like
More medium to full. You know, like growing up, I'll tell you a funny wine story. I just got my first apartment. I didn't know anything about wines. I got my first apartment in Washington Heights in New York in Manhattan. And I invited a young lady over. And I went out and bought a bottle of wine. And I bought a bottle of Merlot and I put it in the refrigerator. I thought it was supposed to be served chilled. I was 19 years old. And I pulled the bottle of wine out of the refrigerator and she was like, you're not supposed to have Merlot in the refrigerator. Like, and I was like, I was just making up stuff. I was like, I know that, but I just like it cold. I was like, I like it cold. I like it cold. And that was like, and from that point on, that's when I started to like really try to learn more about wine, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm a red wine drinker all day.
Got you. So if you had to do white, would it be Riesling or Chardonnay?
Chardonnay.
I like that. So
yeah.
With that being said, my brother, I just want to give another toast to you for jumping on. What's in your glass? Another.
Hold on, I need to pour some more of this Camus, man.
Please do.
Proper toast.
Proper toast to my brother,
man.
My family, man. Keep doing what you're doing. You're an inspiration to myself, to my family, to this new generation, to all other generations, man. Love what you're doing. I support you. We support you. The Black community support you. We got your back. The whole world supports you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Love, champ. I appreciate you.
I love you, bro. Appreciate you, man. And get that banana pudding, man.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. I appreciate that. Love, man. I appreciate you guys.
Love, man.
Of course. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. What's in your glass? Don't forget to sign up to the newsletter. What's in your glass TV. At this moment, I'm about to switch over to IG Live, and we're going to go live, and I'm going to tap some people in. We're going to have some good conversations, listen to music, and do what we do. Peace.
I'm joining you in your live, man.
I appreciate that.